We don't hear too much about the 36 years post the Mahabharata.
Yeah,
Uh, could you give us the surface level story of what
sure,
happened?
sure.
And where is it mentioned? That's
Yes.
the other angle.
This is mentioned in the Mahabharatam itself. What happens is towards the end of the 18 days, or rather not towards the end, at the end of it all, Kaurava Vamsham, the entire dynasty, all of the 100 brothers, all of them barring one, they're all killed and their wives have been widowed. It's a gruesome scene on the battlefield, and there are vultures preying on those bodies, and it's there are rivers of blood. It's very gory. Gandhari comes onto the battlefield,
The mother of the Kauravas.
the mother of the Kauravas. And when she, of course, there's a patti on her eyes because she doesn't see, but she's feeling her son's body. She's hearing her daughter-in-laws, they're all wailing. And when she sees that, grief overtakes. That's the real parts, the human parts of these stories are here. Grief is powerful. Even when rishis experience it, putra shokam especially, losing your child when you are still alive is known to be one of the most painful things that nobody should experience, because it is not the natural order of things. The natural order is parents will go first. Children, that's how age works, that's how our bodies work, right? They are older, they will go. It is an unfortunate but a reality that somewhere is drilled inside of us. But when the reverse happens, when a parent sees a child go, it's a terrible, terrible feeling. And when Gandhari sees that this has happened, not one, but all of her sons have been killed, that grief overtakes her. And who's there when she's on the battlefield? Krishna is behind her. So when she's aware of this, that look at this, look at all this destruction, she has forgotten that her sons caused it, that they were the ones who started and sowed the bijas of adharma, and they caused all of this massive destruction for themselves. She's forgotten all of that. It's easy to pinpoint, no? When we're angry, everything for us is, what, Bhagwan? I did so much for you, but this is what you gave me in return. She looks at him and says exactly the same thing. And this is where Krishna teaches us one of the most phenomenal lessons in our lives, which is, she looks towards Krishna. Of course, looking is metaphorically. She turns to Krishna and she says, this is your doing. You brought me this much of loss. I'm having to deal with death 100 times over, and it is tearing my heart into 100 pieces. So I curse you, Krishna, that you will die silently without any respect. These are all warriors. They have all died here on the battlefield. They will attain Veeraswargam. That's where any warriors who die, they go to Veeraswargam, because they have died while performing their duty. Good or bad, that's where they go. But you will die silently. You will die by a hunter's arrow. That is my curse to you. Krishna receives that curse smilingly and he says, Amma, you shouldn't have cursed me. I'll tell you why. I would have anyway gone like that. That was how I had chosen to go. You wasted your tapas. Krishna's lesson is not in the Bhagavad Gita, it's throughout his Janmam. Krishna's lesson to us. Gandhari has earned herself a lifetime of tapas. Why? Because when she got married to Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtra could not see. So she took it upon herself to tie a patti on her eyes so she would also not see and be with him in that dharma. Through years of that tapas, when you accumulate any kind of spiritual tapas, you earn something called Vak Siddhi. What does tapas do to you? Formula is, you become Shuddham. There is cleansing that happens from within. That's what tapas does to us. It cleans our minds and our bodies. Shuddhi leads to Siddhi. Shuddhi will make the tongue powerful.
Penance leads to purity, purity leads to power.
Yes, beautifully put. So when Shuddhi leads to Siddhi, what you say will come true. But what happens? It's like an account. You just withdrew a whole lifetime's worth of savings on that curse. So that is why elders always say, don't curse when you are in sadhana. Don't utter something casually negative about someone. Don't wish ill. Because if it is destined for them, for somebody, for whatever reason, it will happen anyway. But you don't need to waste your tapas on them. Because what you have accumulated for yourself will go for someone else, for something that it need not. That's exactly what he says to Gandhari. He says, this is what's going to happen to you now. You've lost your tapas on this, but I'll go. After this, Krishna goes to Dwaraka, and there he watches how his clan, which is the Yadu Vamsham, they all start bickering amongst each other, because that was also part and extension of Gandhari's curse, and it was also written for them that the rest of his clan would die bickering. And there are sub stories within this, but basically Krishna watches that dynasty also slowly crumble. And he goes into a forest which is in Dwarka. You can still see it till date. And when he goes there, he's sitting at the base of a tree one fine day with his foot outstretched. That foot is standing out. It is Narayana's Pada Padmam. It is that lotus foot of the Lord that is sustaining the entire universe. So it's a very beautiful, it's a very attractive foot. A hunter sees this dark foot and thinks that it's a deer's ear. So he takes a poisoned arrow, he fastens it, and he shoots it. That poisoned arrow hits the tip of Krishna, and slowly that poison spreads, and Krishna goes back to Shashwata Goloka from where he came. Prior to this, he instructed Balarama to go. Krishna Avataram Rahasyam, Rama Avataram Rahasyam. Before they go, they sent back Adisesha. Same Adisesha who came as Balarama, Balarama becomes a white snake and slithers into the ocean. Whereas in the case of Lakshmana Swami, also you see that he goes before Rama, because the bed must be ready before the Lord comes back to recline. So this is effectively the last 36 years post the war. He goes into solitude. He goes into what? Just witnessing and observing how each being is meeting their final point. And finally, he just allows himself to go, because what he came for has been fulfilled. It has been fulfilled through his story, starting from his arrival to his spending all of those years with the gopis. It has been fulfilled by giving them what they seeked. It is fulfilled by all the Rakshasas who he killed, who also went back inside him. Jaya and Vijaya he released. He crossed over, set up the war of the era, cleaned that chapter, cleaned that entire horizon, and gave us the most phenomenal verse and said 18 chapters, 700 shlokas. This is all you need for life. Take it. Then said, what more is there now? This is what I've come for. Take it and go.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
If you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out these curated playlists that we've made especially for you related to the subject that was spoken about in this clip.